Hi, welcome to the channel and welcome to our topic for today, transition from AutoCAD to Revit. Specifically in transitioning from creating floor plan in AutoCAD to creating floor plan to Revit. Okay, so for the introduction, ang main goal ng tutorial na ito is to make the AutoCAD users who is planning to adapt or is in the process of moving their workflow from AutoCAD to Revit to be more familiar and less stressful in their transitions, specifically in how to create floor plan in Revit. Sa AutoCAD, pag gumawa ka ng floor plan lang ang magagawa mo. Pero sa Revit, the moment na gumawa ka ng floor plan, automatically gumagawa ka na din ng 3D model mo simultaneously, including the calculations of the area, volumes, lengths, and at the same time counting the objects na nagawa mo na. Those are just one of the reasons why many companies are transitioning from AutoCAD to Revit. And if you know Revit, chances are you already heard or read about BIM, the acronym for Building Information Modeling, which is a process that can only be enabled using softwares like Revit. But we will talk about BIM on the other videos. For now, simulan na natin ang demonstration. Okay, one last note to close the introduction. Personally, I used to use AutoCAD before Revit. Kumbaga, sanay na ako gumamit ng AutoCAD sa work before pa ako nag-transition sa Revit. Kaya alam ko na mahirap at medyo madugo ang proseso na ito. And that's the reason kung bakit ko ginawa ang mga video na ito para makatulong sa inyong pagsisimula. Okay, for those who are watching this tutorial to get an idea muna bago itry or wala pa kayong Revit, just sit back muna and relax. And to those who want to follow along with me, let's start. Okay, we will be using Revit and AutoCAD. Sa AutoCAD, more on explanation lang ang gagawin natin, pero sa Revit, gagawa talaga tayo ng floor plan. Okay, so let's open AutoCAD first. At ngayon, naka-open na ang AutoCAD software ko. Then now, let's open a sample drawing project. Let's go here in the AutoCAD icon. Let's click open, click sample files, and then click installed sample files. Then now the select file window will open. Here in the sample folder, let's go down here in the sheet sets, click and then architectural, then res, then let's click the wall base drawing file. If hindi nyo ito makita, you can click the desktop, then follow this file path folders hanggang sa makapunta ka dito sa res, and then click the wall base. Kung wala pa din, you can use any other drawing files as long as meron lang silang layers na nakaset up. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's click this wall base drawing and then click open. Now, naka-open na yung drawing file natin. And let's go directly to the main topic natin dito sa AutoCAD. Ang key topic natin dito sa AutoCAD is what is the main approach in working in AutoCAD? Kumbaga, ano yung main approach natin to create floor plan here in AutoCAD? So, the main approach here in AutoCAD to be able to create a floor plan is the approach called line-based approach. Meaning, in order for us to create a floor plan and other drawings here in AutoCAD, we primarily use lines or combination of lines that represents the layout of the building. Okay, so generally, the line doesn't know if it is a wall, a window, or a door. And in order for AutoCAD to recognize what the line represents, we use layers. So we assign layers in each lines or blocks to make AutoCAD recognize what it represents and perform a specific task for a specific elements. For example, if gusto natin i-hide ang lahat ng water closet, i-turn off lang natin ang layer ng water closet, mawawala na lahat ng water closet. Hindi yung iisa-isahin pa natin sila sa pag-hide. So, layer serves as the brains of your lines for time saving and efficiency purposes. Okay, so yun. Now at this point, I suppose na may idea na kayo or alam nyo na kung paano ang paggawa ng floor plan dito sa AutoCAD. Because later, I will be discussing how to place walls, doors, windows, furnitures, and annotations like dimensions and tags in Revit. Tapos I'll point out kung ano ang kaibahan ng process nila sa AutoCAD. Let's look at the features in producing printed drawings here in AutoCAD, or also known as plotting settings. Let's press Ctrl P sa keyboard. And now the AutoCAD plot window will appear. Ang plot settings sa AutoCAD and Revit is different. Ang gusto ko lang i-discuss dito that I will point out later in Revit is the pen assignments. Generally, the pen assignments is what we use to enforce our company's standard, be it line style, line weight, and line color, which you will specify to the line properties of the lines here in AutoCAD. By the way, there is a process to transfer that standard into Revit. If you like to see that process, comment down below. We cannot discuss it in this video because it requires time. Dito sa AutoCAD, kailangan mo i-plot ang drawing to preview or see the output kung tama ba ang pagka-apply ng standard na pina-follow mo at kung ano ang itsura niya pag na-print na. Let's close the AutoCAD plot window. All in all, AutoCAD solves the problems of manual drafting. It makes the lives of the manual drafters who adopts AutoCAD more easier, thanks to the tools provided by AutoCAD. To name a few, these are the Draw tools, the Modify tools, and Annotate tools. Because of these and other tools, marami na ang drawing materials and drawing tables ang namahinga sa workforce. Okay, so let's proceed. As the world economy progresses in time, the projects are becoming more and more complex, demanding, and more hectic. That's why AAC industry is looking for a better approach than 2D drawing processes. So the need for 3D processes is becoming a necessity. And it's not just about creating a 3D model. AutoCAD in itself is built to create a 3D. Its environment is three-dimensional. As you can see here in the view cube, you can rotate it anytime, and you can create an extrusion. But the tools available in AutoCAD for creating 3D is time-consuming, hard to operate, not flexible, just a minimal automation and intelligence. It will just add loss to the company rather than gain benefits. That's why companies use other software to create a 3D model. Pero commonly, ginagamit lang ang 3D model na iyon just to prepare 3D presentations, not really in the process of design and construction. Meaning, our industry is needing a software where you can create 3D model at the same time you can generate 2D drawings from it as well as estimate. Also, it should be a flexible for coordination processes and has a lot of automation para hindi lahat manual extrusion na lang. And it should be intelligent, meaning it can read what kind of object and materials are being used, and also it should know its functions. So medyo grabe ang kailangan na requirements for 3D processes, no? Pero that, my viewers, is the inspiration why Revit software is created to address that kind of needs. Fortunately, Revit is able to convert that needs into features of its software. And because of that, the 3D processes has been enabled and become available to the masses. And the term BIM, acronym for Building Information Modeling, has been created to specifically describe that process. With that in mind, we are now ready to proceed in Revit. Now, i-minimize muna natin ang AutoCAD. Okay, so I am excited to walk you through this transition. Welcome to the new process and welcome to Revit. Now let's open the software. And now, my Revit software is open. At ang nakikita nyo sa screen ngayon is what we call Revit Home. Ang equivalent nito sa AutoCAD is like this image na ipapakita ko sa inyo ngayon. Yan. Okay, so let's go back to Revit. So AutoCAD and Revit Home is also called Startup Dialog. And here in Revit, the looks or the layout of the home depends on the version. So for the version 2019, 2020 and higher version, which is version 2021, the layout is like this, and version 2018 and lower is different. Now let's discuss about the parts of the Revit Home. Generally, ang pinakamalaking area ng Revit Home is the recent files. Dito mo makikita lahat ng Revit file na na-open mo na. And also the families. So by the way, models and families are different. Models is the actual building or your project in Revit. Families is like in AutoCAD it is block, in SketchUp it is component, and in Revit it is families, in which you load it into the project to complete your project. Dito naman sa left panel, here you can open projects na hindi mo makita dito sa recent files. And here is the new button which we're going to use to create a new project. And here in the bottom is the families. In AutoCAD, you can create the blocks directly in your drawing project. In SketchUp, you can also create it directly in your SketchUp file. In Revit, you can also do that, but there are families that needed a separate editor here in Revit. So that's why meron siyang separate na options dito sa ating Revit Home. In the near future, I'll create a separate video for this topic. But for now, that covers our discussion for the Revit Home. And now let's create a new project here in Revit. So there is two ways you can create a new project here in Revit. This new button or the Revit Home button. So, click lang natin yan. Then, click File. Then, we can see the New and Open buttons na naka-reflect naman doon kanina sa na-discuss ko. So, let's go back there and let's use this new button. Now, let's click. Then, the new project window will open. Then, let's select a template file. For the beginners, we need to use a template file in creating a project here in Revit, because creating a project from the scratch here in Revit requires advanced or expert knowledge in Revit software already, because marami ang kailangan nating i-set up for us to be able to proceed in creating a project. Okay, so but if you are working in a company na meron ng template sa Revit, you can use that one. And for those who do not, at wala pang template, let's use the architectural template. Template file in Revit in a nutshell is a file in which families and settings, which is your standard, are already loaded and set up. For example, the architectural template, it is already loaded with families like furnitures, doors and windows, and annotations for architectural uses. And of course, the same concept applies with the other templates like the structural template. So now let's click the architectural template. Okay, then let's check if that template is in the correct units. So let's click browse. And now, tama yung sa akin, nasa metric. And if your folder here is US Imperial, just click the up one level and then go to US metric, then click default metric. Pag na-click mo yan and na-click mo na ang open, it will change the name into the default metric. Okay lang yan. So for me, US metric tama na sa akin. So I'll close this one. Then actually I created a separate video in creating a new project in Revit that basically tells you how to create a new project in Revit and how to set it up in the correct units, because sometimes hindi nyo makikita ang mga files na ito, including these files. And when that happens, hanapin mo lang yung video sa aking playlist at you can solve that problem. And if not, just comment down below and I'll do my best to help you. Now let's click open. Make sure the create new is selected, then click OK. And now, moment of truth, nasa Revit interface na tayo. And welcome nga pala dito sa Revit interface. As you can see, ibang-iba yung looks niya kaysa sa AutoCAD. AutoCAD is mostly black, Revit is mostly white. But of course, in AutoCAD, you can change the background of your working area into white or any color that you want. Of course, in Revit, you can do it the same also. But for this mini course, let's settle muna on the default setting or setup of both softwares. To be able to be familiar here in Revit interface, we need to discuss about the interface of the AutoCAD. Okay, so now let's open the CAD file that we minimized earlier. Okay, so andito na tayo ulit ngayon sa AutoCAD. Now let's discuss the interface. Revit and AutoCAD have the same creator, which is the Autodesk Incorporation. So Autodesk apply the concept of the interface of the AutoCAD and implement it into the Revit. Not the function but the concept of arrangement. So as you can see at the top, here's the ribbon, and at the in the left is the properties. So if we go to Revit, here also is the ribbon and here also is the properties. Let's go back to AutoCAD. Ang ribbon sa AutoCAD is divided into tabs, which is these tabs. So ito yung mga tabs. And ang tab is divided into panels, which is ito sila. Per panel yan sila. So draw panel, you can create arc, circle, polyline, and line. And the modify, you can mirror, fillet, erase, trim, and other tools including annotation and for annotating purposes lang din, such as layers and so on and so forth. So in Revit, it is the same. It is divided into tabs, and per tab it is divided into per panel. As you can see, build panel, circulation panel, model panel, area panel, and so on and so forth. So ang kaibahan lang talaga nila is kung makikita mo, the panel is describing about the wall, doors, windows, which is the object na mismo. And by the way, this is called command icons. Kumbaga, lahat na nakikita nyo dito, including yan silang lahat, is commands. Ginawan lang sila ng icon para mas madaling ma-identify. So, let's go back to AutoCAD. As you can see, so meron din silang mga command icons. Kung sa Revit makikita mo is wall, doors, and windows, dito is about lines. So as I discussed kanina, AutoCAD is the approach of working in AutoCAD is using lines. So that's why ang tools na makikita mo dito is about lines and configuring the lines. Pero sa Revit, it's about the actual object mismo. Okay. So ngayon, I'll explain to you the approach in working here in Revit. So the approach in working here in Revit is called object-oriented approach. Meaning, the way you create object here in Revit is based on how the object should be created. For example, I'll create a wall tapos lagyan natin ng door. So ang point ng gagawin ko is to give you a clear concept on the object-oriented approach. So wag mo nyo munang i-follow. I'll just do it and then I'll delete it afterwards. Just try to understand the concept. So I'll start. As I said earlier, Revit enables a 3D processes. So of course it has 3D. So I'll open the 3D and I'll tile them down. Here on the left you'll see the floor plan, and here on the right you'll see the 3D objects. So now I'll go dive in creating wall. As you can see, it is already cleaned out, so no more trim and extend to do. Even if I move it down, the lines follow. Okay, so as you can see, the model, the object here in 2D or floor plan view is also reflected in 3D view, but they are not separate objects. They are the same objects, just viewed on the different types of views. So here the floor plan view and here is the 3D view. So don't worry, I'll explain it to you later how it differs, but for now let's talk about the object-oriented modeling approach. So if I created a door, then place it into wall, the moment I hover my mouse to the wall, it reflects the door and the location of its swing. So I can decide it where to put the panel. So if I click here in the wall, notice that the wall recognizes that the one I placed is a door. So it cuts the wall, or the wall gives opening to the door, as you can also see here in 3D view. So what's important there is also, if I move the door, yan, magmo-move din ng door sa 3D. And of course, it is the same object lang. The good thing is, yung cut ng door or cut ng wall also move right in where the door is. So that's the value of the object-oriented approach. Also, if I create a wall, I'll place it here, then here. It reflects directly to the 3D. At the same time, it cleans the join. So of course, I can decide if I want to see the line or not. So there's a settings for it. And now, as I said earlier in the introduction, that it also calculates the volume, the area, and the height of your walls. So if I click here the wall, here you can see the properties describing about the wall. And if I go drop down here in the dimensions, you'll see the length of the wall, the area of the wall, and the volume of the wall. So tignan natin is naka 36 square meter siya and 7 cubic meters. So if I delete the door, the area of the wall adjusts, so it counts the void from the door. And now that wala na yung door, binalik na niya yung dati niya na volume, which is these values and area. Also, if I place a window, I cannot place window anywhere without the wall, so it needs to recognize a wall. Yan. Okay. So one good thing here in the object-oriented approach is the dimension can adjust the object. So if I click the window, it displays the temporary dimensions. So if I say that this window right here should be just 1 meter from the wall, automatically it adjusts. Yan. So that is the value of object-oriented approach. Now let's delete these objects and let's go back to our default view. Then let's close the 3D view. So ang nakita nyo na ginawa ko is the architectural elements. In Revit also you can create structure, which is here the structural elements, and steel. So the reason why steel tab is separated in the structure, it's because the purpose of this tab is mainly for fabrication drawings. And the way you create your structure is here in structure tab. The systems here is the MEP. So unlike the architecture and structure, MEP systems is arranged by panel. So here is the HVAC panel, the plumbing and piping panel, and of course the electrical panel. Then next is the massing and site tab, which is where you can create topo surface and place a site components and create a conceptual massing. So the other tabs, insert, annotate, analyze, collaborate up to modify, is used to support these 5 main modeling tabs. So let's go back here in the architecture. So now we have a more clear understanding of the Revit and how it is being used and what is the approach of working in Revit. So as the main topic of the course, transition from AutoCAD to Revit, I'll introduce you to the insert tab in the Revit. Here in Revit, you can import your CAD file or you can link your CAD file. The main difference of the two is that link CAD is like XREF in AutoCAD. You can update the XREF using other CAD file, which is the source of the XREF. So here in Revit, if you link a CAD, you can update the CAD here using the source of your CAD, which is your CAD file. The import CAD is when you import the AutoCAD here, it cannot be updated using the source file of the CAD where you created your drawings. Also, you can import PDF and image. Next is the Annotate tab. Here in the Annotate tab, specifically the panels, dimension, detail, and text is where you can create 2D drawings and annotations. Revit is 3D, but you can also create 2D lines here in Revit. So you can use the detail line to create that. And also you can add hatches. In Revit, it is called field region. In Revit, these two tools are more commonly used in details. Now let's go back to the architecture tab. So with this course in mind, you are now ready to create a floor plan here in Revit, which I will be guiding you step by step along the way on the part 2 of this course. Kung nagustuhan mo ang course na ito, please like this video, and if you have questions, write down your questions in the comment box below. Also, I hope na marami kayong natutunan sa mga discussion na natackle natin, and I hope it helps you feel comfortable in your transition from AutoCAD to Revit. So if you have other topics na gusto nyong gawa ng tutorial or course, just comment down below and I'll do my best to cater that request. So to get updated on the next videos na mga ipopost ko, subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the part 2 of this course, which is the hands-on part of this course, and hope you grow more from there in your transition here in Revit. So good luck on your endeavors. See you to the part 2 of this video. Keep safe and thank you.